Good morning, everyone, on a lovely Monday. It's kind of rainy, whatever outside. Lean Body sponsoring Sheldon's morning beverage with their new coffee. And we're going to do episode 26, Wichita Parisi and its testing stuff. But first, we have a special guest, Scout. We have Sheldon Howell, Sean Cutler, and, of course, myself. So for me, it's Monday, 49ers Monday. Need a big dub here, stay in the playoff race.
Oh, that's exciting.
And how was
you don't have like a Malik Monday like we do? Like what's...
No, it could have been Mac Monday, but he's not he's not starting anymore. So, and then my Fred Warner jersey, I just kind of have that up in the closet, and I have my own little number 56, but Cleveland is definitely wearing it well. So
we could call it Brock Mediocre Monday.
Anyways, how was everybody's weekend?
It was awesome. Went to old Andale, watched that game, so that was a lot of fun. Getting able to I figured out who Rock Creek was finally, so that was good. So
are they from Rock Creek?
To report back, they got just pummeled into the ground. So I think it was 40, what did I say? 41-7 or something like that.
Yeah, 41-7.
Yeah. So it was
my late updates on my phone.
Hey guys, 20-7 Andale.
They must have started at like 6 o'clock.
They did. They started.
Okay.
Start, which is kind of why we went too. But it was awesome. Like the atmosphere was great. Like it was cold, not cold, but like
football weather.
It was the definition of football weather.
Were you there, Scout?
It was kind of misting at the beginning of the game, and it kind of got, the field was kind of wrecked, and it's very obvious that they've been playing on that field a bunch because it was bad.
At that point, if at that point you don't have a professional crew on it, just people trying to do the best they can.
Yeah.
At that point in the season, that thing is toast.
Oh man, it was. I went out onto the field afterwards, and I was just like, it was just like mud. Like there's nothing.
Can't even see the yard lines anymore.
So they're pretty excited about getting to play in Hutch this upcoming, and so they'll play on Friday. So I think me and the fam are trying to figure out a way to get out there and
for state.
So yeah,
they made it
state
to state
championship. So
what time's that going to be on Friday?
I think it's at 6.
This coming Friday?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
After Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't really do a ton of stuff. I mean, we'll maybe go to my cousin's or something on Friday during the day, but we were thinking about running out there for the game possibly. So not too far away.
Hopefully you drive.
No.
Should be pretty fun. And that
Iowa plays that morning too.
Oh.
On Friday morning?
11 a.m.
Nice. Who do they got?
Nebraska.
Oh.
Boo.
Nebraska's not that great.
Whatever.
It's still.
I mean, there's some big stuff going on this week.
But yeah, I want to shout out. Where's that? Oh, it right there. Yeah. Dude, these things are awesome.
Lean
Shout out
Body
to Hart,
Mocha.
getting us hooked up at the office with some Lean Body Cafe mochas. So 7 Brew, you missed your shot, man. They they beat you to the punch and getting us some products. So
Let's hear the stats on that drink.
Oh, the stats? There's 240 milligrams of caffeine, which is what really gets people going. 40 grams of protein, which is awesome. 0 grams of sugar.
Boom.
So what other good things in here? They got enough vitamins. I don't want to list them all off. So a little bit of sodium, 360 milligrams of sodium. So sodium's not bad. 25 milligrams of cholesterol, which supposedly whatever.
Cholesterol is good for you.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
But yeah, it's solid stuff. Flavor's great. That's the best part of it. Is it actually doesn't taste. It's not like super sweet, but it's not super coffee
or chalky either.
Yeah,
it's pretty smooth.
A lot of, 40 grams of protein. I'll take it. So we're getting caffeinated and proteinated.
Proteinated.
Yeah.
Proteinized. I don't know.
Proteinized.
Proteinized. Yeah.
Proteinized.
Proteinization.
Hey, snooze you lose, 7 Brew. It's your own fault. I would have been talking about you, but instead I'm talking about them. So there you go.
Sean, how was your weekend, man?
Oh, it was good. It's good. Had a lot of lessons on Saturday, and then watched Iowa barely eke one out.
We had it in the bag the whole time. Knew exactly what was going on.
Decided not to throw the ball at all good until the last 2 drives of the game, but they ended up getting a walk-off field goal because that would have been a detrimental loss, and Sean would have been on some watch on Saturday night. And then the Chiefs pulled one out in overtime. Big win.
Yeah.
Big win. The defense, Chris Jones finally playing football. It's cool to see. And then the Packers just kind of.
Dude, offense was humming yesterday.
Yeah, just smooth right through. Right.
Offense
Didn't
finally
have to worry about that game. I was kind of locked into the Chiefs game, so I was flipping back and forth. But
yeah, it was nice to see like our offense just run the way that it should. You know,
JJ McCarthy's still bad.
Not bad formation penalties, stupid holds. Like everything kind of was pieced together well. Passed the ball well.
Okay.
Like J Love played well.
I do want to say something real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So you just mentioned that Brock Purdy's mediocre, right? Which, you're entitled to your opinion. But now I'm not an Iowa State fan, but my family is. And I watched a lot of Brock Purdy. I enjoy watching him at Iowa State. Now, Brock Purdy from Iowa State, right? Last pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
He plays well enough in this system.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, let's pay him. They did. Right. JJ McCarthy, a top, 12 pick? And unfortunately, he got hurt last year. But they passed on bringing back Sam Darnold and trusted their future in J.J. McCarthy, who's from a blue blood program like Michigan, won a national title.
Mm-hmm.
Also
Don't
system.
say that word on
Michigan
on this week. Yeah, this week, not good. Right? Not good for this week.
Well, you need to snap that streak. That's like the one game that Ryan Day can't win. Right
for sure.
Yeah, so just look at that contrast there and remember that it's not about what jersey you wear in college, folks.
Oh, 100%. The problem with Brock Purdy is just that he's overpaid for his talent level, his arm strength, decision.
I don't know, dude. I'm watching a first round quarterback at JJ McCarthy try to sling the ball around.
From a major surgery. Like
Brock Purdy's been hurt too, man.
Has he ever been hurt like that?
I don't know, man.
No, he has.
Because he's farm strong. That's why.
And which team do you feel like is more complete, especially with coaching?
No, don't get me wrong. It's fairly even. I think O'Connell's a pretty good coach.
I think Shanahan's one of the best coaches of all time.
Shanahan's a pretty good coach too, but Shanahan also mentally weak.
Good Lord.
I don't know about that.
I just say that.
Lord, please save me.
No.
I just say that because
you're a Chiefs fan.
Well, and he can't win the big game.
And
the reality is they've paid Brock Purdy way too much money for his production.
What are they going to do in that situation, though?
Tell him less money and stay? Because what's his other offers going to be?
Who knows? Somebody else. There's some quarterback. There's going to be some quarterback moves this offseason for sure.
They could have, but
they had Sam Darnold.
They had him.
You know what I mean, though?
And Brock Purdy beat him out.
The type of Sam Darnold
beat him out.
Like there's those guys. He's going to end up in the same.
I think you also
dudes.
there's the intangibles too that you're not accounting for. You talk talent level and everything.
Yeah, just
Tom Brady's talent level wasn't amazing, but he was just leadership.
Tons.
Obviously, his brain.
Yeah, the best.
And then he was willing to make adjustments as his career went along to continue to be really effective as a passer.
And take less and less and less and less and less money
after his first big payout. Yeah,
like he.
That's all.
I mean, maybe Brock does that in the future, but
the only way Brock's going to remain a 49er is if he takes less and less and less and less money.
Maybe not.
Anyways,
ignoring the facts.
Guys, it's Monday Night Football with the 49ers. Let's scout. How was your weekend? What?
Good.
You had a good weekend? What'd you do?
Watched some football with my dad. I had a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you watched some Packers football? Played with your cousins? Nice.
Is he talking to it?
Yeah.
Talk right on
it. There she is. So you had a good weekend, watched some Packers football, played with the cousins. Is there anything going on at home that's really fun to watch, maybe with Stokely?
No.
I heard she started walking.
Yes, a couple steps.
That's pretty cool.
Not as many steps as you, though, right?
You're so fast, right? So fast.
Scott, do you have school this week?
No.
Not at all? Not a single day?
No.
Man, that's nice. What are you doing the rest of the day? What did we do this morning?
this morning?
Yeah, what have we done so far this morning?
We went downstairs.
Talking to the mic, Scout. Scoot up. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
You got to scoot up towards it so we can actually hear you. When you sit back like this, we can't hear you.
Well,
okay, cool.
For now, little TV shy per se and all that good stuff. But this weekend was good. Lots of family stuff. We got our wreath out and hung it for the first time in a while. Had a lot of troubling light issues, so searching for the burnt one.
We did our leaves yesterday, or
the old Christmas vacation.
I did our leaves yesterday, so it was. I made the mistake the first year we moved into the house that I started picking up the leaves as they started falling, and our backyard has 2 massive trees, and they just keep falling and keep falling. And so after that first year, I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm not going out there and picking those things up ahead of time. So now I've waited until the very end, and all I was doing, me and Banks and then our neighbor kids were actually playing with them too, but I would just take the sweeper, sweep up a full thing, come dump it in the driveway, go again, full one, dump it, full one, dump it. I bet I did that 50 times.
Oh wow.
I mean, the pile of leaves was as tall as the trash can. It was huge, and they're just sitting there sweeping them into these bags. It was so funny. Took forever, but thankfully we got it done before it started pouring rain over on the west side of town. So
yeah,
got that done. I need to get my sprinklers blown out here pretty soon too. That's next.
And then of course Derby lost to Manhattan. Manhattan looked like they were pretty good.
Didn't they whoop up on them?
Yeah, it was 38-7 or something like that. And then Cape enrolled. They have allowed their first touchdown of the playoffs. And so they've scored at least 59 points and only allowed 7.
Yeah, I thought when we did that, wasn't it 256 points they've scored so far?
Yeah.
And I think they've only let up 7 in total.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're state bound. Obviously, Andale state bound. I don't think Great Bend won. So
no, they lost.
They lost to
Salina.
Wamego.
No, it was Salina.
No, was it Salina? I don't know.
South maybe or Central. One of those Salinas is in it. I know
South
that.
Central.
South Central.
Either way, we have
South
Andale
Central
at
Angels,
state,
baby. Yeah, tonight.
and Cape at state. Those will be big games this coming weekend. Other than that, just the game is coming up this week. I can't pronounce anything with the letter M in it. It's just tradition. I think it's at the Big House.
Oh.
It's at the Shoe. So 5 years coming. We're the number 1 team in the country. We're resting all of our players, and sure enough, we're going up against somebody I went to high school with, Sharon Moore. He's the head coach of the state that I do not speak of on this week. And that is Saturday at 11 a.m. and all that good stuff. So just trying to have a positive week here.
They're resting all their players.
Carnell Tate and Smith were just hanging out and being a part of it. So they didn't play at all against Rutgers.
They didn't?
No. And Keenholtz came in and backed up several times, trying to keep everybody fresh.
Is he still wearing number 33?
Who?
Keenholtz?
I don't remember.
I don't like that.
What is it?
He's a quarterback.
He's a quarterback.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's like the BYU quarterback wearing 47.
Unless you're
the guy is
Andy Reid size body, like a big.
Well, that
dude.
BYU quarterback is massive.
Okay, see, I can get behind.
He's like 6'3".
If you look like an offensive lineman or a tight end and you're playing quarterback and you just want to,
I use recruit as a linebacker. Anyway.
What so as we move through this week, it's Thanksgiving week, and
pod on Thanksgiving.
I thought about
do a remote pod.
I thought about trying to do something like that, but I don't know. I mean, everybody would have to call in and be on their phones, or try to get in here and do a quick one just to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. But
sure, I'll tell them the history of Sean's history of Thanksgiving.
Oh, Sean's version.
I think it'd be great.
So I guess let's start off on the Thanksgiving side of it. Scout, if you're listening and you want to tell us what your favorite food is during Thanksgiving, we'd love to know. Do you want to share? Or are you hiding right now? You're okay. All right.
What's wrong, Scout?
Earlier, she was saying turkey, but ham was her favorite. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the camaraderie, the family aspect of it, just being around the important people in my life.
I gotta ask. Camaraderie?
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie?
Camaraderie.
I think it's camaraderie.
It is camaraderie.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I got
You keep saying camaraderie.
Camaraderie. My bad.
Just
My
leave
bad.
Hey, leave out the F. Camaraderie.
I got you.
It's a commodity with
yeah.
roddery.
Yeah. Just being able to surround yourself with the ones that you love and share that. It's just going to be super important this year for me.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I like Thanksgiving.
Underrated holiday. Gets mashed.
Oh, what?
Football games,
It's
all that stuff.
underrated?
Yeah. It's underrated, man.
I think people love Thanksgiving.
I think people do, but they don't. Everybody's like,
it's
Christmas. Halloween for some reason. I don't know. Halloween.
Yeah, I'm not a Halloween fan.
Definitely
Really.
not a Halloween guy.
Yeah.
Scott, what's your favorite holiday? Any answers over there?
She's now submerged below the table.
Yeah.
Okay. Packers play on Thanksgiving, so we'll be locked in for that. That's for sure. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
Malik?
Hopefully Malik gets a snap. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe
Steve.
make his mark in Toyotathon. Not sure. Hopefully we show up. That's going to be a pretty big game. Like that'll be last time we played them in Detroit on Thanksgiving, we played well and won, but
well, you got it's a big sports week this week. You got the
Chiefs play that same day too.
Niners
right?
playing tonight.
They played
I don't know.
Dallas, I think.
I don't know that they play Dallas.
But,
do they play Dallas on Thanksgiving?
So. I think that's
at home, I think.
Chiefs are at home?
I believe so. I don't know.
I doubt it. Dallas is always home.
What about Shedeur Sanders getting his first start? Good win. He threw some bombs.
I don't know.
I saw a deep ball from him. I didn't really watch.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I didn't.
Yeah,
it's the Browns. I just don't.
Yeah,
find that interesting.
They aren't interesting. You're right.
Miles Garrett needs to get traded. Hopefully to the Chiefs.
He needs like 5 or 6 sacks to break the league.
I know
the league record.
He's gonna get to like 26 before the season.
That would.
He's
a
monster.
He deserves that. I mean, he's such a good player on such a unhappy team. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that.
I mean, it's a terrible team. Yeah, and then you got a lot of big college basketball games this week because Thanksgiving week's kind of the week that all these non-conference tournaments get going. I know like Iowa State, KU, they're playing in it's this new like it's like players something, but it's this field of like 18 teams and the players actually get paid in this one.
Oh wow.
So there's
like
a ton
NIL
of programs
stuff.
in there. Yeah, like there's a ton of programs in there. Big time programs. I know Alabama's in it. Tennessee, Houston, St. John's is who Iowa State, but Creighton's in it. Just a lot of teams, a lot of big time teams. And then Wichita State, because this new team tournament is kind of washing out all the usual, like the Maui Invitationals.
Yeah.
Wichita State gets a crack at the battle for Atlantis, which is
fun.
Yeah, because that's usually like a second tier non-conference tournament. So that's pretty cool that they get to play down there. So they should play some interesting teams. And then, of course, you just got college football and NFL all mashing together this week. It'll be hopefully maybe some free agent signings in the MLB. Make it fun.
Yeah, did you see that big trade from the Mets to the Rangers?
Who was that? I didn't actually. It's on me, folks. Sorry.
You're still searching for where the Chiefs are playing.
I know. I was.
You got carried away. Let's look this up real quick. I know the Rangers and the Mets made a big trade. Stroman or something like that.
Stroman. Stroman's not on there.
Hold on, not Stroman.
Yeah, he got wiped from the Yankees, and then I don't know where he went.
Let me go to my alerts here. Sorry for the pause here. Marcus Simeon finalized for Brandon Nimmo. Yeah.
Oh, just a 1-for-1?
Yeah.
That's an interesting trade.
1-for-1 deal.
I was like that.
Nimmo goes to the Rangers and
Angels, Orioles, they traded Grayson Rodriguez, who used to be the top prospect in the game. A lot of potential, but off injured pitching prospect for Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward's solid ball player. I think a lot of Royals fans wanted the Royals to trade for Taylor Ward. But
yeah.
So some stuff,
baseball.
Some stuff happened in the hot. So well, we're just talking about how this is a big week of sports. You know?
Oh,
usually one of the biggest of the year. You got
for sure,
ton of stuff going on. College basketball's really getting into full swing too, and then obviously like even high school's finishing up this week.
This weekend I went and watched my nephew's basketball game, and one of the referees that were taking a break, he plays at Sunrise. He's a freshman there, and he was just telling me how cool they've been traveling, and they went to Oklahoma twice, and he plays for the JV. But he really
the brackets.
He really
the football.
No.
Where do you find those at, Dave? Let's read off the
Acacia.
Is that what it is? Oh.
I mean,
I just want to read the last final ones.
Okay, so Kansas high school football bracket.
Because I know Andale is playing Topeka Hayden, I believe.
All right, so 3A bracket. You have Andale versus Hayden.
Yep.
Okay.
Where's Hayden from?
Topeka.
Topeka.
Yeah, that's right.
This school does exist.
4A is Bishop Mage versus Cape and Mount Carmel.
Battle of the Catholics right there.
And then 5A is going to be Bashore Linwood versus Salina Central.
Bashore Linwood.
Our Central's, when we went to Eisenhower, they played Salina Central. And they have that, I believe they have a defensive lineman. He might have been offensive lineman too. I don't know his main, but he's going to KU, I'm pretty sure.
And then you'll have Olathe Northwest versus Manhattan for 6A.
Yeah, Manhattan's got some guys.
They got some dudes. But
I bet if you looked at those scores too, like those last, like coming through regionals, I bet it's the two teams that are probably in the last ones are the teams that are like just beating everybody by 40, you know? So hopefully they're actually competitive games. Yeah. It's been pretty lopsided.
Something along those lines. I mean, there's some iffy games. I mean, Great Bend lost by 2.
Yeah, but that was like an anomaly of the playoffs. Like, there's not very many games that were close.
Yeah.
There's a few games within a score, but most of them were 20 to 30-point victories.
Yuck.
Yeah.
It's interesting how.
So let's go ahead and roll into our topic today. It's Wichita Parisi's testing week. You know, Sean being the program director, how important is the testing week? You know, we do Monday, Tuesday testing or challenge events, evaluations, those kind of things for the athletes. Talk to us about the importance of that and what this week really means for, you know, the end of the month and what the athletes can look forward to.
Well, I think the importance is that it's one of our main staples here at Parisi, because it's our opportunity and the athletes' opportunity to show their parents some very tangible results of the work they've been putting in, or the lack thereof. So when they come in and they test, and a lot of the kids, very few times some kids get like nervous about it, but like mostly all the kids love it. They want to beat their scores. They want to get in here and of course, if they all beat their scores real quick, they all get to leave earlier too. So yeah, that's always a positive. But you know, when they first come in, they sign up. We do an eval for their baseline scores. We get their 10-yard sprint, 20-yard sprint, laser timed, and then a 5-10-5 agility, laser timed, and then 5 hop, which is 5 broad jumps in a row, and then vertical jump, and then their chin up test for their relative body strength test. So kids get to do those 6 tests again and again and again, you know, month after month. And obviously, you know, the more you come in, naturally, you know, the more you're going to progress. And we do it 2 days, of course, because we want to make sure they have all the opportunity to beat their scores. So like sometimes kids come in Monday after the weekend, either they play a ton of sports over the weekend or they don't do much over the weekend. They come in, they're either a little sore, just their bodies just aren't ready to roll. Yeah, a little lethargic on Monday.
Maybe
so
they had their Thanksgiving dinner this weekend.
Maybe. So then they kind of don't maybe beat one or two things and don't beat everything. It's like, well, come back tomorrow, take another crack at it. And it doesn't, we have our jump start and our TP classes separated. But on testing day, they can all, doesn't really matter what time, come in because we're all doing the same test. So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of for us as coaches, it's our game week, game day, basically. It's like, okay, let's, in the eval where we're just getting your baseline scores testing, it's like, all right, first of all, we're going to have them run through all these things, but then we got to coach them through it too. So we got to be on alert to make sure we're seeing all the things we need to see to help them have the best test possible as well. So, I'm looking forward to it today. I think our RSVPs are doing pretty good as far as how many people are coming in, but yeah.
And there's no athletes that are going to request me, right?
What's that?
There's no.
There might be. You never know, Dave. You better be on call in case we need
keep the legs loose and chase some kids.
Case a kid needs a little extra motivation to run fast, because I don't know,
Sometimes
the adrenaline isn't pumping, the fear isn't pumping.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy.
We do whatever it takes around here to get your score going in the right direction. But yeah, we got 8 and jump start today, 8 and 4 p.m., 3 at 5 p.m., 3 at 6. Nobody at 7 yet, so if anybody's listening live, which nobody is,
get in there.
Get in there at 7 p.m.
Come on in.
Tuesday, so far we got 1, 1, and 3. So
this is also a big travel day for those going places for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we might not get a huge turnout this week just because it is the holiday week, but
we'll get a big turnout.
Yeah, shout out to our friend Evan who's traveling. Travel safe, man, and I hope everything goes to plan.
Yeah, Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, testing's fun. Testing is it's obviously the staple point of the program. It's the piece of the program that, allows us as a coaching staff to really make sure that we're, 1, doing our jobs, and 2, allowing us to kind of self-check ourselves as well, which I think is part of, for the kids, it's kind of obvious, right? Like, everybody wants to test better. But, for us, it's about, hey, are we actually providing the service that, people essentially are paying for? And this is, a good way for us to self-check that, pay attention to the little things, like find, what are, and really kind of when we self-evaluate some of that stuff, we look at, Jumpstart in comparison to TP. So for those of the people that don't know, like those are the 2 clarification programs inside of our program, like for our regular program. And, so Jumpstart is, we give you rough ages here. We don't do things by age, but, basically anybody that is high school or below, a lot of times is going to end up in that Jumpstart program. And then high school and above, a lot of times ends up into the TP program. So it just gives you a rough range. Now, there's a lot of hybrid kids, or what do we call a bubble kid, that are kind of in between there. And we, specialize programs for them, push them in certain directions, what have you. But, the nice part is it allows, it's just a good point. And we do it once a month for that reason, is to keep eyes on the numbers. Pay attention to 2 things, right? Number 1, how's the program working? What are the different pieces of the program? And what are we seeing, develop, right? And we have mainly progressions that happen, but there is some regression at points in times, right? It's not a foolproof system. You're going to have different pieces of the system that will change. And then, it allows us to also look at the kids, because then it's like, okay, like for example, one of Salinas' just, a random example here, but, a test a month ago comes in and blows everything out of the water, and you go look at his attendance and he's here all the time. And it's like, okay, like that makes sense. And then comes back a month later, basically gone the entire month, maybe came 1 or 2 times. And then all of a sudden his tests, bottoms out and he starts, struggling in certain areas. And so it's just it's a way that, we see that regression happen, but then we get the opportunity to have the conversation with the parents and say, hey, look, we understand you guys are busy. We're not telling you that, you're not. Like, we understand that it might be difficult to get in, but how do we go about coming up with a better system of maybe just once a week, right? Like, just find a way to stay consistent. And if you stay consistent, you're going to see if there is regression there in those numbers, you're going to see, a smaller gap. And that's ultimately what we want, right? We want those, peaks and valleys to be much smaller. I think the ones that always really the light bulb goes off is when we have returning kids, kids that start with us, they're here for a year, 2 years, whatever. They leave because they had a ton of progression. They feel good about themselves, right? And I just had this happen this last week. The kid leaves. He was here when he was in 6th, 7th grade, leaves, comes back as a sophomore in high school because he's not making the varsity team. He's not playing at, the highest level where he thought he would just automatically go because he got so much bigger. And then he comes in and we test, and he's been gone for, 2 years, and his test score goes up. It was a very minimal number. I don't remember the exact number, but it wasn't a lot. And I'm like, yeah, that's not good. I understand, it went up a little bit, but you have to understand with consistency, this number would have gone up, 100 plus points at a minimum if you would have just found a way to stay consistent through that time frame. And I get it. Schedules are crazy. You're busy. You got stuff going on. Everybody does. But if you just find ways to make that happen, you will thank yourself later down the road. Now, it's still good that he came back. Still good that he's here. Still good that he's, starting a higher level programming now. He's going to get kind of his butt kicked in the right direction, which is great. But, it wouldn't be as big of a gap if you just would have stayed consistent with it. So sometimes that's, we use testing days for that, being able to really dive in not only to ourselves, but then just also the logistics, figuring out, what are the best programs for each family? How do we go about finding the ways to make it all make sense? So there's a lot of, challenge event days, testing days, right? They're super important. And, you have to be checking, you have to be paying attention, you have to be doing those things. Because if not, you're just doing general fitness and you're just working out, which there's nothing wrong with those things at all. It always sounds like we are talking down to that, but we're not. I would much rather you do something than do nothing. But the reality is in these years, especially with the kids that we work with, from ages 5 to college, those years are impressionable in the aspect of if you are trying to be a high level athlete, you shouldn't waste any of that time because you don't have as much time as you may think you have. So that's what we really, what I focus on the testing days, especially looking at the numbers and just kind of seeing. But there's a lot of variability in it, a lot of moving parts when it comes to it. But testing is fun. I don't know. You want to dive into the tests? Should we go into them? Or
yeah, I think that would be fun. But I want to ask first, your opinions. What do you think is the most celebrated test? When a kid beats the score, what do you think is the most celebrated? I already know what mine is for what I've experienced with Parisi, but if a kid beats his 10, his 20, his vert, his 5 hop, the chin up.
I would say chin ups is probably
that was the first thing that popped in my head.
Kids wise, the ones that I'll preface, if they can't do a chin up, when they can do their first chin up, that is the most.
That's
huge.
That's
such a huge
biggest,
celebration.
And for all of you people out there, just so you know, this is what I learned in my certification a couple years ago. So I'm sure the number's only gone down. Where we're at as a country health wise, under the age of 18, about 1% of males under the age of 18 can do one chin up. That's one chin up, one full range of motion chin up, down, up. And then less than 1% of girls under the age of 18 can do one chin up. So that's a communication a lot of kids who come in to get evaluated most of the time, unless they're already high school athletes who have been, in the gym a little bit already, they're not getting a chin up most of the time, unless they're really some younger kids who are super light, haven't hit a growth spurt yet, can usually maybe do a couple. Yeah. But yeah, it's
chin-ups are hard.
It's a tough thing. You were pulled it's not and even a lot of these kids, and look, if you want to see whether your kid can do a chin up or not, watch them do a push up.
Yeah.
If they struggle with doing a push up or a couple push ups, or their push ups mini reps, at the top, all shoulders, then yeah, they're not going to do a chin up. But to your question, I think the chin up is probably the most celebrated. I think as you get older and the athletes get a little bit in our system, or they've been in for a couple times and they're a little bit higher level athlete, I think
Speed,
and even the vertical. I think just kids like seeing the vertical.
But anybody who hits over 30 just gets excited.
Yeah.
Vertical is good for specific sports, but I think that most
speed's got to be
the majority of sports, like minus basketball, volleyball, like they obviously are very particular when it comes to their vertical side of things.
Yeah.
Although it is extremely important for all of your sports. I mean, it doesn't really necessarily matter what sport
you don't get a running jump for your vertical, by the way. It's off 2 feet.
Yeah. No. But yeah, I mean, speed's probably, well, and the other part of it too is how we do our testing, right? So that's the other big thing is a lot of places out there, do a lot of hand time related things, and they do all of these different systems and stuff. And so just having laser times, accurate information, that type of stuff is also kind of something that helps Parisi itself kind of separate from other, camps that are out there, stuff like that. I mean,
and the scoring system.
Yeah, and most like gyms, I would argue, or training facilities, whatever you want to say, like most of them have adapted to that now, right? Like, so the technology isn't crazy hard to get or anything. So I think a lot of places out there have it, but when they go to like these camps, which I guess, or I'm thinking, my opinion, most of them favor that information because there's colleges there's college coaches around, that type of stuff. So, and I like even with Braden, right? Like, so who's, obviously we talk about him a lot because he's in here every day, but, he goes to these camps and he's running times for these guys, and that's what they post, right? And he's hand timed most of the time that he goes to a lot of those places. So, like, it's not right. Like, I don't know how wrong it is, but it's not right.
There's definitely a couple tenths of a second
even
room
if
for error.
They're really good at it. I've been doing it a long time. I'm really good at hand times. I'm never right. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, ever. Like,
right
it's just
there.
Yeah. So I mean, when they go and do that, like, he goes and runs at whatever camp, and they put him on all these different styles of tests, and he, like, he's out the freaking gym when he's jumping or running or whatever it is. That's what they post. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the high school kids are always going to post. They go to a KU camp and run off the charts and it's a hand time. They don't give a shit. That's what they're posting. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they were at the KU camp. So it's automatically solidified because where it's coming, even though that information's not right. The hard part is, and the flip side of it, which most people don't think about this, except for people in our field, those camps also want that, right? Like, those camps want those times.
Yeah.
They want that stuff to look like they have every badass in the country.
That's how fast I was throwing this weekend.
What?
You've never seen those? There's a
calculator.
Yeah, the calculator. This guy throws 99.2.
Yeah, like it, because the camps want the notoriety as well, because then more people want to come. So if they got 6, 7, 8 guys there that are running 4.240s, they're like, everybody in the country sees that, and then they want to come and do it too, because they think that there's more attention there. There's more eyeballs there, right? So it's a marketing thing. And, so it's just kind of you got to know what you're into, I guess, and kind of understand the field to be able to, go through all of it. But yeah, speed testing is a huge deal. I mean, for our stuff here, plus the kids they enjoy racing each other and just like whipping up on each other, basically.
I think also, for a lot of the kids who might not be, maybe they're a little insecure about competing too.
Yeah.
This is an overarching thing for sports in general, but the test is so impactful because it learns kids to compete against themselves. Sorry, I said that wrong. Makes kids learn to compete against themselves. Especially for those kids who are like, a little insecure about how fast. But at the end of the day, kid, that doesn't matter. You're just trying to beat yourself from last month. You're just trying to beat yourself from 2 months or whenever you last tested.
Right.
And then there's that competition within the competition that you don't, with what the test measures, it's not about being the best person at Parisi. It's becoming a better version of yourself as an athlete at Parisi.
Sorry.
So it's not
kick
good,
me out. I don't know
good,
why it kicked
yeah.
me out. Yeah.
But it's not about can I beat this person to the left? Which, if that is what it's about, and that motivates the kid, that's great. But
it's you versus you.
Exactly. And that's ultimately, if you're looking to improve yourself at your sport, that's what it's all about too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I can't like always focus on catching up with this person, this person, this person. I got to focus on improving myself. And then naturally, that progression is just going to translate over to, okay, if this person's not doing this, then I'm going to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
If this person's not in Parisi, I'm going to catch him eventually. And I'm going to beat him out for that spot or whatever it might be.
Yep.
Well, so Sheldon, you had mentioned let's dive a little bit into the testing and go through that. So you guys do it on the daily. So I'm going to let you guys talk about it. I just love seeing the kids celebrate.
What do you mean?
You said breaking down the testing. You said something along those lines, and there's 5 to 7 tests.
Yeah, it just depends on how you do it. But what is your question?
The test, break it down. Like you have your 10, your 20. What the meaningful side of those from the Parisi end and the athlete end. I mean, obviously acceleration and being able to hit top speed. You have your vertical, so your transfer of power to the ground, jumping vertically, and then your power out with your broad jump, and then chin ups and change of direction, those kind of things. Break those down for the people listening and how important those are in each challenge event.
Yeah, I think, and for Parisi in general, I think the test really, overviews kind of our approach towards just training in general, but also the coaching aspect side of it, but then also from a foundational basis. Because that's kind of one of the main things that we get, or at least I still get, been doing this a long time, is everybody's always like sports specific typically when they start conversations with us is they're looking for a football trainer or a basketball trainer or whatever the case may be. And so for us it's kind of changing that paradigm of, hey, like you're getting sports specific stuff all across the board and everything else that you're doing, we're going to work more from an athletic foundation basis. And so the testing protocol is important in that because there's no ball in the tests, right? Like there's no, catching, there's no hitting, there's no throwing, there's no shooting. It's truly just an athletic baseline test. So that way you can figure out, one, what your athlete's deficiencies are, right? So we can actually, measure, where are we struggling in certain aspects. And then two, it gives your athlete a focal point to focus on for them to be able to then start to game plan, right? Because I think that's where Parisi separates itself from a lot of other things out there is if you're just training or you're just working out or you're just doing stuff, like, again, nothing wrong with that. And that's better than not doing things. But how much time are you investing into things that aren't actually paying attention to the little things? So that way you can start to make the big differences, right? And so the testing protocol follows that, and we encompass all of the different movements that we are going to focus on, right? So you have acceleration basis, you have change of direction or multi-directional speed, you have top end mechanics, right? Especially with our kids, because we deal with a lot of younger athletes, maybe not your higher end sprinting, but there is tests for that. We just don't do that on our monthly testing. And then you have your vertical, and then you have 5-hop or broad jump, and then relative body, which is what we talked about with the chin up, right? So, in your 10 and your 20, really you're watching your acceleration phase. A little bit of top end mechanic based off of the age of the athlete and how they actually use their transitional phase to, build speed and create, into your top end mechanic side of things. And then 5-10-5 pro agility, right? Side to side. That's where you're watching multi-directional stuff. Vertical, right? So vertical force, and then horizontal, right? So your broad jump, jumping forward, right? Paying attention to your core, your hips, what's moving, why is it moving, right? And then relative body, which is our chin-up test. And so for all of those tests, it boils down into, what is our technique analysis behind all of that stuff, right? And that's kind of step 2 in the process in my brain. But it's also as important as the testing, because that's really what I think separates us from everybody else is we pay attention to all of the technique analysis. And that's a big determining factor in how your athlete is going to move and what they are currently doing, and then in where in the direction that they're going to go, right? If you can't break down technique into a version that your 5, 6, 7-year-old can understand it, then you're going to be missing the boat for a long time, right? Like, because they're not going to understand big sciencey words, and they're not going to really get, the in-depth, mechanic base behind acceleration, right? Like they understand it in certain versions, and you got to be able to get to that version so that way they can start to apply it. And that's what we really, that's what we do here. That's why we get the results that we get, because we have a version. This Parisi program is essentially a version that most athletes that are coming through the ages, all right, going into high school and beyond, as they come out of, middle school and things like that, they start to understand this more in depth. And don't get me wrong, like, we get pretty science-based in here, right? Everything in here is backed by the science. It's just, how do we get the athletes to understand it? And then how do they start to apply it, right? So that technique analysis is a pretty big deal. And what are we watching, right? We're watching head, shoulders, hips, core, lower body activation, ground contact, right? What's moving? Why is it moving that way? And then how do we go about pushing you into the proper direction? I always say this, especially when I talk to parents, this is not a cookie cutter approach to movement, right? Movement is something that you as an athlete have to feel it to understand it. And if you don't feel it, it's going to be a lot harder to neurologically understand it, right? So there's a lot that goes into that. The other thing and kind of principle that I think parents have to understand too is, if your athletes haven't been taught this stuff from a younger age, right, their mechanics are probably more than likely going to be off, right? They may do some things great and some things not as well, but if their mechanics are off, then you have to look at it. I think Chad described it to me as like peeling back an onion, right? Like, when you peel back an onion, you got to peel it back, peel it back, peel it back, peel it back to get down to the core of why we have this mechanical issue or why this thing isn't correct. And that's going to take some time, right? The example that I always use is like, athletes learn how to walk when they're just over, 1-ish years old, typically, right? And so from, we'll just say the age of 2, right, when they're moving around a little bit quicker, right? Okay. So at the age of 2, and then you're bringing them to me at the age of, 7, right? That's 5 years of bad habits, right? Let's say that you didn't bring them in here until they were 10, right? That's 8 years of bad habits, right? So just when you put it into perspective on time that it's going to take to solve a problem, you have to look at it from a, hey, how long have we been doing the wrong thing? And not to say that it's a straight line answer there, like it's always going to be the exact same amount of time. That's obviously why we're professionals. That's why we're certified in the areas that we're certified in, to help, accelerate that process and be able to get people the results that they're looking for in a quicker time frame. But it still takes time, right? Like, these kids are not robots, right? They movement is not Newtonian, right? It's not how the body is designed to move. The body is designed to move in all of these different forms and ways, and you have to find the way that fits your athlete the best. And granted, there is a general rule of thumb when it comes to acceleration, to transitional phase, to top end phase. Like, there is a general rule of thumb, but you can go line up the best 10 sprinters in the world and watch them in slow motion and tell them that they all, let's see if they all run exactly the same. The answer is no. All of them are different, and they're all different in their own unique ways. But you got to be able to identify what the differences are, but then also be able to explain that to a 7-year-old, and then get that 7-year-old to then want to do it and be, motivated to make changes, but then be able to apply it, right? That's where we come into play, right? That's where we're able to help the majority of people, and that's why this system is so good and proven and why it works. So,
all right.
Do you feel like the coaching style? Well, this one will be for Sean. So, because Sheldon, you got to enjoy your protein shake by Lean Body. Sean, do you think when you're coaching, you help the athletes that come through our doors embody the Parisi mentality? I mean, I hear you guys talk about the definitions of things and trying to, bring them up to speed from an educational point. Do you feel like the athletes that come in here embody the Parisi methodology?
Yeah. So when I'm coaching, it's almost a little bit overwhelming just for a second because, well, not just for a second, a lot, just because I want to make this kid as good of an athlete, all the kids who are in there, as good of an athlete as they can be. And then every single day, when I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for class or after class, I'm trying to get as much done as I can for their athletic improvement in that 1 hour. So, and it feels like it's just like, for me, in my mind, it's just like it's enough time to get a lot of work done, but still like, man, I didn't. And then when I look at the test results after a month and see the different stuff that the majority of people improved on or didn't improve on, then I kind of know what direction I want to take the program the next month, with a little more emphasis on, body weight stuff so they get better at chin-ups, or a little more emphasis on power production so they get better at the broad 5-hop or the vertical jump, or just most people barely improved or didn't improve on their 10s and 20s as much as I would have liked. Well, now we know what we need to work on. So the testing, we get benchmark of that. As far as getting them to buy into it, I think you can tell by who shows up the most, who's really buying into the Parisi mentality. Because I think the people who treat it more as, now there are some people who like, there's a group of brothers who come from Dunlap, what is it called? The town? Is it Dunlap or down south of Derby, I think. But anyway.
Douglas,
thank you.
Dunlap. Douglas.
Yeah. How did you get Dunlap? Isn't that like a clothing brand or something?
Probably. I don't know.
Dunlop was, a tire.
My apologies.
Isn't that a golf?
Yeah.
My apologies. Oh, that's what it says on my golf bag. That's where I got it.
Oh, okay. Dunlop.
My apologies to the good people of Douglas. Anyway, but we have some people who come from there, and and they're still coming 1 or 2 times a week, but because they're bought into the program, right? So again, then to buy in, yes, we talk about the definitions and the focal points of each acceleration, change of direction, top speed, and then the focal points of strength and deceleration as well. What we're trying to get them to buy in is, yes, you can be good at hitting a baseball. Yes, you can be good at catching a baseball. You can be good at running. You can be a smart base runner in softball. You can pitch really well in softball. You can be a good blocker. In football, you can run good routes. But all of that improves if you focus on improving your overall athletic performance. So the more that they get drilled into with the focal points and the definitions, the more it can translate out of here. So trying to get them to buy in, the kids, I think they do. After a while, they do. You have to, as a coach, you have to identify the kids who don't want to speak up. So
sure. So you have some type of investment.
Absolutely. And I think, we have some kids in here for a year and they still don't know the definition of acceleration. Well, that falls on us because we're not calling on them to answer the questions. It's easy to just say the question, hope that the one kid who always answers the questions calls it out. But that's not being a very good coach, and that's not being a very good teacher. You got to make sure everybody is learning the foundations, not because they need to be smarter, just because they need to know what they're doing when they get out of here. Yes, they get smarter, but like when they get out of here, if they make a movement in one of their practices or one of their games and it didn't feel right, then they can think, well, my weight was on the wrong leg, or I wasn't engaging my core there, or I wasn't getting into an athletic stance when I tried to decel there. That's why I tripped over my toes and fell on my face, or went into the stands when I was playing defense instead of actually decelerating properly so I could change direction well. I think, just when you're talking to the kids, each class, you wanna make sure they understand that whatever we're working on, that class is doesn't matter what sport they play. It's completely tailored to whatever they're trying to do. So the buy-in for them is being better at acceleration that day than you were the last time you did acceleration. Vice versa.
So this is my last question for both of you guys. Sheldon, you've been doing this a while, and Sean, you've been involved for, a quarter of the time that Sheldon has. And how do you get your athletes that show up for testing day hyped? Like, what have you done in the past, and what do you currently do that gets them hyped up to just beat their scores?
Well, I'm a pretty business as usual guy, and so I will make fun of them if they don't. But it obviously not in a.
It's constructive.
It's a I'm a sarcastic asshole. That's what I've always described myself as. So that's kind of the way I treat it. But that has nothing to do with when they're actually going through the test, and I'm gonna coach them through. It's not like I'm out there trying to just because it would not be authentic to me to be like totally change my tune on testing day. I'm just like, are we gonna set some PRs today or what? Are we gonna do this? And then, and if they're not, then I have to be in the, I get excited when they beat the PRs, obviously. Like that's fun, especially if we've been grinding at it for like 20 minutes and it just clicks for them, they get it. But like before class, I'm business as usual, and let's get it done, and let's be better than we were last month. So
sure. Sheldon?
If I'm on the turf, they know that it's time to work. I ain't got to do nothing. Like if I'm out there, they know 100%. Yeah, like my tone ain't changing, but I bring it's the same class every day with me. Like you're here for an hour, we ain't playing games.
Like
we're
working.
We're working
the highest effort you can.
Yeah, when you show up, I don't care if it's Monday, I don't care if it's Saturday. Like we're here to do a job. Like buckle up, lock in. Like, and if that's an issue, then go home. Like it's not. For me, it's just there's time to play and there's time to work. And when we step onto the turf, it's time to work. And that's been the MO for me for a decade. And I don't know, like when the kids when I'm out there, as soon as I open my mouth and it's time to go, like
let's go.
It's obvious, So, but that's part of the culture. Like that's part of what we're trying to build. Everybody has their own kind of approach to the day-to-day stuff, and they're all good. Like, that's why our program is so dynamic, is because we have different, approaches to it, but we're all speaking the same language. We're all talking the same ways. Like we're saying the same words, saying the same verbs, everything's in unison, and that's what allows our athletes, no matter what day they're coming, no matter what class, that allows them to get the programming that they need to be successful, and it's not conflicting, and it's not like it is everywhere else they go, because everywhere else they go, they got one coach telling them one thing, another coach telling them another thing. Mom and dad are saying this here, and then this guy over here saying this. Like there's a bunch of confusion, and people forget that they're talking to young, children essentially that are just typically trying to make everybody happy. And so if you're all telling them multiple different things, they're just going to do what they're being told to do most of the time. And then that starts to become confusing. Like, it's like, well, Sean told me to do this, Sheldon told me to do this, Dave told me to do this, and I'm doing all three of them differently.
What are you doing?
Why? And you don't want it to be that way. So that's
to your point there, right? It's not Wichita Sheldon school. It's not Wichita Sean school. It's not Wichita whomever school. That's Wichita Parisi speed school, right? And the whole point of that is like you were saying, other places, everybody's trying to put their own imprint on your kid's athletic performance or their general fitness, whatever it might be. No, we want to put Parisi's imprint on them. We don't want to put some inconsistent switches every single day print on them. And if it does, if we are doing that, I mean, that falls on me ultimately. But, we're trying to have one voice. So when we are teaching the fundamentals, when we are teaching the focal points and everything, that's how it is. And that's how we're moving forward with it. Before we get out of here, and be done. I'll run us through last month's results for the testing.
Who are you looking? Yeah, add in here who you're looking forward to seeing this week. Like, just give them a small shout out. The kids that have been putting in that work, and
for sure.
And
all of them.
Definitely all of them. Yeah, but
encompass them all.
You'll notice, and if you were to look at all of these kids who I'm about to list off, if you were to look at which one of these kids are coming consistently, it's these kids, right? So I put together a post at the end of pretty much at the beginning of every month, talking about the end of every month of our testing results, because I think it's a good way. Follow us on anything X. We don't really do it on X, but I don't know why. That was the first one I said.
For Wichita,
Instagram or Facebook and TikTok. Follow us on that. You get to see what kids are doing every day in here, and then every once in a while we have a different style post like this. So we did 30 athletes tested, which isn't a ton. Normally we have a little bit more, but soccer was starting up again. We had a lot of our soccer
football
kids get busy.
Season in play,
football season obviously going. So, but 30 athletes tested. It was an average of 14 overall points of improvement for each athlete. So their overall score on average between the 30 athletes went up 14 points. Our top score improvements, Sydney, how do you say your last name again? Just want to make sure I say it.
Dumboy?
Yeah.
Dumbo? I don't know.
Dumbo.
Dumbo.
It's hard to say Dumbo. But
Dumbo.
she went up 76 points, and she was one of the kids who kind of took this summer off with her busy softball schedule, and she came back in here in, I believe, September,
right into
late September, and she started going, and she got her scores back up to where they were, and so that's that. She's been putting in 2 to 4 times a week consistently. And she's been doing the same this month. So, and then our number 2 gainers was actually tie for second, Ethan Viola and Tristan Williams. He's one of our Atletico kids, I think.
Soccer, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been when he first came in and tested a year ago, my goodness, the kid could not move. Tall, awkward kid, but he's improved immensely.
So polite too.
Yeah, good kid. And he's added 40 points in this last month, and so did Ethan. And Ethan's been coming in here and working really hard. Curve kid, so he's in here a few nights a week, hitting and throwing and everything too. And then Elijah Ballman, another kid who did not know how to move when he first came in here. He's had some surgeries and stuff to his feet, so not necessarily his fault. But so just to see he improved by 36 points. He's our number 3 gainer overall. It was been really cool to see him. I mean, he was really discouraged the first few classes because a lot of other kids could move through these movements who had been coming for a while. So to see him kind of do those, they haven't been here a lot this month, but seeing him progress and work through those movements with almost ease now, or with some semblance of know-how. Confidence is the word. So that's really cool. And then our top 10-yard sprint improvement was Tristan, again, minus 0.2 seconds off his time, which is really good in a 10. 0.2 of a second in a month. And then Big Anthony Thomas, wrestler, another guy who struggles with movement. He's had some knee issues in the past. He came to us at the end of September. He put in a lot of work in October before wrestling kind of kicked off. And he took almost a third of a second, but minus 0.26 seconds off his 20. And then Noah Ballman, Elijah's little brother, took 0.6 seconds off his 5.10.5, which is a lot, and you'll see a lot of improvements kind of like that within the first month on the 5.10.5, because it is a big time form thing once you kind of get the form down and the feel for it and getting the weight on the right leg and the transitions down. But I mean, that's still a huge jump. He's a good little athlete. And then Sydney again on the vertical jump added 2.5 inches in a month.
Woo!
And, I think overall that might have beat her best overall score in the past by like an inch, but still, I mean, that's 2.5 inches in a month. That's pretty big. And then Olivia, she's been grinding like 3 times bare minimum per week since she signed up with us. Olivia Young, and she added 2.5 feet on her 5 hop in the last for October. So that's really awesome. And then
and she was a Jumpstart kid that graduated into TP.
yeah,
right?
yes,
So
yes. So
that's always kind of a cool accomplishment too as a younger athlete. You test into that Jumpstart program, but then, a few months into it, you're testing into the TP program, so you're getting to push yourself forward. That's cool to watch.
She's been really, she puts in she's here almost every day out of the week, pretty much. She gets in here. So, and then Noah Vermillion, he added 3 chin-ups on the last testing, which is also really good. Especially when him and his brother have been going through basketball conditioning a lot. I remember them talking about that at the end of October. So their other numbers weren't quite as good, just because basketball conditioning kind of takes a lot out of you. But good to see their strength numbers all kind of went up still.
Swear everybody down before we start playing.
Yeah, it's we could get into
sounds like we just need some Uncrustables in here.
Yeah, but Sydney will probably improve again. She's been coming a lot. Olivia, the same thing. Stinky Link, he's been grinding, so I'm looking forward to seeing him test. So if he gets a little, if he's focused, he's going to improve. It's just a matter
the chirpiest of them all.
Of that, I'm actually going to check the RSVPs because I think there's a few other kids I want to look at. I know the Hilliards, they just started recently. 2 brothers, they've been working pretty hard. You're going a couple times a week. I'm looking forward to seeing their scores go up. Hargraves, a couple of our rugby kids. Colton.
Yeah,
he started
rugby
recently.
Kids have been pretty consistent.
Yeah, they've been coming a lot,
which is cool.
Olivia, what's her name? Olivia Klein. She's been coming a lot lately. She should probably be graduating to TP after this one. A couple of those Mulvane football kids are signed up, but yeah, I mean, should be pretty fun. Lucas Hill, he should improve as well. He's been coming in pretty consistently once or twice a week. So looking forward to a couple of kids getting some big scores, because next month we'll test again, but it'll be a little bit earlier of a testing to get in front of
it's more time off.
Yeah, the Christmas break. So
yeah, a lot of kids are out all week this week too.
So it'll hopefully the kids who are going to miss this week, hopefully they can make that testing before Christmas. It'll be 22nd, 23rd, looks like.
The end of year testing,
Yeah, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But
well, do you guys have anything else to add to that for our Wichita Parisi testing conversation?
Suppose maybe later this week on a quit we could go over if I get the results together from this testing, we can kind of go over those results maybe later in the week.
Yeah,
we need to do the Atletico too and get like all of those, because I'd like to do a little club promo.
I got all the numbers figured
Yeah.
out. I just got to get them on there.
We got some cool guests coming on this week as well too. We have a player of the year coming on tomorrow, so that's going to be a fun one. And then Wednesday we got another cool guest, and then
Thanksgiving. We're going to have the Pilgrims on.
Yeah.
The first Pilgrims.
I'll have Key on one of these too, so I got to talk with him. He's in town this week, so I definitely want to get him on. He's got a really cool story. So we're going to have some cool guests over the week. So just a nice little kickoff to the week. Just kind of a heads up with what's going on.
We had Scout for a little bit on there.
Yeah, she's,
I think we scared her.
Yeah, we just started asking her, and then all of us were just like, yeah, there's just
she'll be all right.
Yeah.
But cool. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. It was fun. Have a good week. We'll have some fun episodes, and maybe we go remote on Thursday. Maybe we all come in. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
And Sean, will you lead us in our closing prayer?
Of course. Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for another opportunity. Thank you for breath, Lord. Just continuing to wake up each day and enjoy your creation. With your creations. Thank you for people in this room who are motivated and working for the betterment of athletes, the betterment of community, and just continually working to glorify you, Lord. In your glorious name I pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Well, that concludes episode 26. We had Wichita Parisi testing week today and tomorrow, leading into Thanksgiving. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.